What's up, everybody? It's Kelly Cook, and we are talking about canceled listings skyrocketing today. Not just today, but this month and last month as well. What's going on with the housing market in Phoenix, Arizona? Guys, we are everything Phoenix live on YouTube. Thank you very much. I'll get that out, guys. I'm a little rusty. I was on vacation with my family doing an RV vacation around some national parks. And we had a blast. So I took last week off. So thank you for tuning in this week or watching the replay because we have some good stuff in store for you today. We're talking canceled listings. We're talking appreciation, or is it depreciation? Where do we currently stand? We're talking price per square foot. We're talking sales. We're talking annual median price points and so much more. We got to talk some development. There's some interesting things there about water. Matter of fact, one of the first things we're going to talk about on this live is going to be a update on the Arizona water situation. You don't want to miss that. Okay. And then obviously we're going to end this with some more information about the housing market, where it's going from a national basis, but also pulling it back into a micro basis around Phoenix. Very important. What's going on with interest rates, guys? Is interest rates going to go down? The Fed is meeting pretty soon. And now the sentiment may have turned. In which way, though? Possibly to decrease rates, keep the same, or according to one economist, increase the rates? What? Okay, that's weird, but that's what one economist is actually saying. So we have to dive into this and figure out what in the world is going on and what moves might need to be made here coming up in the next week, month, quarter, or by the end of the year for you to be fully informed to sell or buy, your choice, or maybe to stay put. Maybe that's the best thing for you. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. If you don't mind letting me know where you're watching from, that would be great so that we can curate the algorithm through YouTube to deliver the best information to the audience that is watching. So are you watching here locally or are you watching from out of state? Either way, put it in there, ask a question. We would love to know what you're thinking. All right, I'm going to get started here. I'm going to share my screen as I always do, and we're going to rocking and rolling. And of course, we're talking about canceled listings, so we're going to start there. You can see right now that canceled listings have skyrocketed here recently. And right now in July, we're talking 2012, and in June, we are 2256, and in May, 2135. So Q2 and the start of Q3 has not been kind for canceled listings. So what does that mean? Well, the only reason July is less than May and June, guys, hear me out on this, is because a lot of sellers took their homes off the market. And they didn't therefore put their home on the market to begin with. And therefore, they didn't have to cancel them. But a lot of people have took their homes off the market. That's why cancel listings are so high, especially in June. Matter of fact, in June, there was a recorded stat that for every one home that came on the market in June, 30 homes went off the market. So that sent the national media into a tizzy. And if you look at the actual graph, you can see June was not looking too pretty. There was the most cancel listings. So that makes a lot of sense. But does that mean the housing market is crashing? They went on to say, because of this, we're talking 20% or more in terms of a market crash in Phoenix upcoming by the end of 2025. I don't see it. I'm telling you right now, spoiler alert, that's not going to happen unless something really weird that we're not even aware about, some black swan thing that we're not even aware about right now occurs. Not in Phoenix. Mark my words. Now, if I'm wrong, you can replay the video and I'll eat the crow. But I'm pretty bullish on that one. Now, is it going to go down further? Yeah, I think it probably could. In fact, the Crawford report said in commentary 2 months ago, based upon the data and based upon rates staying around the high 6s to 7, you're talking about a negative 3% appreciation rate by the end of this year. Negative 3%. I'll take minus 3% when we've had the run-up we've had since COVID in appreciation across Phoenix, and hopefully most homeowners would. Now, if you bought a home at the end of 2024 or beginning of 25, you don't want to hear that, because if you have to sell for some reason, that's not good. But guys, we don't buy homes to try to turn and speculate and sell them for a profit in 4 months, 8 months, a year and a half. Guys, it's a long-term perspective. Now, I understand people's plans change, but that should not be the goal. If something comes up unexpected, I get it. And if you can hold on to the property and rent it and just break even on it, I would highly recommend it, because I was talking to a client yesterday, and he lives in Minnesota. And this client, he's a smart guy. He really is. And he's looking at possibly making a purchase in the Phoenix area. Well, his whole point was, Are we really overvalued? And is there a world? Is there a world where a house right now that's $800,000, say anywhere in the valley, say in Scottsdale, is $800,000? Is there a world, but in 5 years from now, that same house is not worth 1.3 million? I don't think so, guys. And that's hard to swallow. I get it. But I think you're looking at prices increasing now. Could it be 1.3? Maybe not. Maybe it's 1.1. Maybe it's a million 25. Maybe it's a million. But it doesn't appreciate a couple hundred grand at that price point in 5 years. I think it's very likely it does, guys. And all you have to do is look at the economy, the local economy, what's happening with development, what's happening with job growth, what's happening with population growth. The unemployment rate nationally is doing actually really well, which is a whole other conversation we'll talk about here in just a second. Locally, we are beating the national unemployment rate. We're below that in Maricopa County here in the Phoenix area because our economy is doing very well, very business-friendly environment. And most corporations, a lot of them, I cover in many videos on this channel, Facebook, Meta, Google, the big ones, the big S&P 500 drivers are relocating part of their divisions, a lot of data centers, that's part of it, to the Phoenix area, okay? Which is creating a lot of job growth. Now, let me jump back in here and share my screen, okay, and give you some more of this. So right now, overall, the local economy here with the Cromford Index is at 73.7. That is actually going up. Now, does that mean the market is doing better? Not necessarily. Let's just be honest. The answer is no. A big fat no, okay? It's not doing better, but the reason why it's 73.3 is because less inventory, which normally comes on the market this time of year, is not happening. Why? We're in July, guys. We're in the seasonality of our market. So let's say the rates were at 4%, 5%, something low or better. We'd still have the slowest month of the year this month of July. That's just how it works in Phoenix. And the main reason why, as simple as this sounds, this is the truth. I had an economist tell me this. I already kind of thought it, but an economist said this, right? And it's simple as July is that month where you probably already home shopped if you're making a home purchase for school and being situated for that starting in early August in most places across the valley, or even end of July in these valley school districts where you're year round. But in July, you already home shopped. You don't have to do much of that anymore. And school hasn't started quite yet. So you're probably going to take your vacation if you haven't done so yet. Maybe your second vacation in July, like we did. We have kids. It's the time to do it. We can't do it in August. We can't do it in September. We can't do it in April because our kids are in school. So we're going to take that summer vacation as a family. And a lot of obviously families live in the Phoenix area, and you're going to do it primarily in July. Market slows down. People are outside of their routines, and therefore you have lower activity, which means in August, the numbers will be lackluster for home sales. They will. And most likely the median home price in August is going to go down again. Speaking of which, median home price, you know I love to cover that, guys. Let's hit that up right now. The monthly median sales price right now has dipped again to $444,600. 444, actually 444 even now as of the reading here just a day or two ago. So it's gone down when it was at 455 just in May, a short time period ago. It was at 445, I believe, last week or 2 weeks ago when we did this. So it went down another $1,000. So the median home price is continuing to go in the right. And some people say, well, it should be a lot lower than that. Well, maybe it should, but it's not. Reason why is because the market's still doing okay. The Case-Shiller Index, which is always a lag measure, has the Phoenix market actually increasing from 16th ranked, the top 20 cities, to 13th because the market actually went up a little bit, about a little bit under a percentage point on appreciation overall. Now, this is three months ago, but you're getting the immediate numbers that are in real time at $444,000, decreasing by $1,000 on the median sales price, which is what you want to go off, not the average, because average can be skewed by cheap homes or really luxury expensive homes being sold within a given time period. Okay, so we're good there. Now, I got some more here to show you. So let's keep rocking and jamming here. I love this. Active listings. Check this out, guys. I told you one of the reasons why the Cromford Market Index went up is because listings supply went down. You can see it right here. It's very obvious, right? There's the peak number 2025. We have gone down, not much, but we went down. So it helps the index because demand is remaining weak. And so we have an index where it's curtailing down. You get the visual representation. Okay. Let's go to the next thing. Okay. We're jamming right now, man. We are moving. Okay. This is annual appreciation based on monthly average. I'm going to blow this one up a little more so you guys can see this. Okay. a little bit better. You can see the pink line of 2025. Actually, look at this. Look at this, guys. In July, here, the 29th through July 30th, which is right around the corner here. What day? You know what? Hold on. I'm getting confused now. July 29th. Thank you very much. I didn't think July 30th happened yet, so I'm a little off on my readings here. But you're talking about it going up a little bit, but we're still down around, what is that? A minus 2.4%. So we're at minus 2.9. We are now at a minus 2.4. Okay, so went up a little bit. We're still in negative territory for appreciation based upon the monthly average price per square foot. Okay, so you can see where we're at now. Look at 23, guys. We are in the negative here a good amount of the year. Why? Because in 22, the end of 22, the market did what? The market went down because inflation went up, rates skyrocketed, the market panicked, and it got pretty ugly. Where's 22 at? 22, yeah, there it is. 22 is the olive green here, just nosediving when it comes to appreciation. That was a good time to buy. Early part of 23, when demand started kicking a little bit, it was still a good time to buy because demand wasn't quite sure what to do with where we're at in the marketplace. And then some stability occurred. And when that stability occurs, look what happens, guys. It climbed to 23, and then 24, it was a little bit more of the same kind of, average blah. And now we're going the wrong direction in 25. So the appreciation rate is not going up overall when it comes to the monthly average price per square foot, which is the best and most accurate real-time reading on this data. Okay, let's move to the next one. Monthly average sales price per square foot. You get the gist here. The number, well, this is January. The number was at about $311 a foot. Okay, $311 a foot. It peaked at around, what is that, $317 a foot, and then it is currently down to about $288 a square foot. Okay, $287 to be exact, right here. The commentary says. So that is a decline of 9.2% when it comes to the average price per square foot on sales. Okay. Over 4 months, there's no doubt helping to keep current buyers happy with this. Buyers used to be loving this. Things are on sale, but not so much welcome news for sellers. Okay. However, more than half of the decline is caused by high-end homes selling in fewer numbers. In July, they did in the first half of the year. So, for example, we saw 110 closed sales in the month of March in the luxury market, over 3 million, whereas July, we saw only 26, okay? So that is going to move this number. Why? Because it's the average, not the median, okay? Not the median. So let's go back to medians one more time. This is more representative of the marketplace, and we're at 444, but it's not falling off a cliff. And that's why the Cromford Report and these other powers that be say that we're looking at probably a 3% decline overall by the end of 2025, not this 25% correction that I know many of you feel should happen. And I'm not opposed to it, but feelings won't get you anywhere. Logic will, data and facts will. So that's all we're trying to do here. You may not like it. That's what we're trying to do. Now, by the way, shoot me a question. Some of y'all have questions out there. I know it. I can hear the questions coming through the camera right now, but you're not asking them. Ask those questions on YouTube Live. I will address them as best I can and hopefully give you the straight answer, whether you like it or not, or whether I like it or not, right? I do appreciate everyone watching, but we're going to give you the real right here between the eyes on this show. Okay. Until that happens, I'm going to keep rolling because I got more stuff to jam on. All right. So let's go over here and talk about water. I'm going to expand my screen because, guys, water is a hot topic in Arizona. We all know this. And so this is actually a kind of groundbreaking, no pun intended, report on the water situation in Phoenix. Are you ready? Are you ready? Give me a like. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. Put something in the chat, if you will, if this was Zoom. Okay. But give me a like. Are you ready? Here we go. Buckeye Queen Creek spend millions to import groundwater for development. Oh boy. Guys, hold on. Did you know? Let's talk about this here. I gotta set the table. In Arizona, the water issue came from the national media 2 years ago, running with the story where the governor actually stopped future building by a home developer in the far west valley in Buckeye. Okay. Because of that, it sent the national media into, oh my gosh, Arizona or Phoenix is running out of water. No one should go there. It's a bad deal. Not true. That is actually fake news. Whatever. Fake news is what it is. Okay. Arizona's not running out of water. Is there more water, available that's naturally occurring than there was, maybe 50 years ago? Probably not. Okay. But we are using the same amount of water we were using in 1957. We are using, I'll repeat that, the same amount of water we're using today with population that has, I don't know, 1,000 times greater than we were, the same amount in 1957, primarily because agricultural. Okay. Now we've gotten a lot better with it being more efficient with our agriculture. We have stopped a lot of agriculture that was happening back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And so it's using far less water. The consumption for human beings and life for human beings, I think it's around 26% or so. And like agriculture is still well over 50% when it comes to water usage, but it's not what it used to be, which is well over 80, 85% back just 5 decades, 6 decades ago. Okay. So that's good news when our water usage is around that. Did you know? I'll say it again here for the show that Phoenix is the number 2 city in the world when it comes to the technology of water efficiency, behind only Tel Aviv, Israel. Okay, they have to because of obviously size of they're on the Mediterranean, and the size of their country is very small, and they have a lot of people in vertical high rises, etc. Right? So that is good news for the future of Phoenix. Now, every suburb in the Phoenix area needs to have a 100 year assured water certificate. Okay. Now, what that means is that there's a rolling 100 years of a guarantee of water usage for a city every single day. So until that certificate, that assured supply of water is removed, until that happens, there's a rolling 100 days of guaranteed water for Scottsdale, for Gilbert, for Glendale, for Phoenix, for Tempe, and the list goes on for all the major suburbs in the city of Phoenix across the greater Phoenix area. That's how that works in Arizona. So right now, unless you plan on, I don't know, living to be 110 years old and you bought a house today, you're going to have water for your living in that house. Okay, that's good. That's step one. Now, the only 2 suburbs that did not have the 100-year water certificate were Buckeye and Queen Creek. Now, even though about 92% or so of both cities had coverage for something like that, they didn't have a certificate because the whole entire suburb has to have that assured water supply to move forward. That's how it works. Okay, now that you know that, let's go back to the article, because now that problem has semi been solved. Buckeye Queen Creek spend millions to import groundwater for development. Okay, so this is a rendering of Florio, a first village to be developed at the Teravalis Master Plan community in Buckeye, which is going to be enormous. Like a city of itself. Okay, and they have some examples of that. But here's what it is: Arizona finalizes a groundwater deal for Buckeye and Queen Creek. Cities will spend millions to pull water from the Harquahala Basin, if I said that right. Said that 3 times really fast, for 110 years. Sounds kind of like an assured water certificate of 100 years, but maybe just a small tweak to this. Experts warn hurdles in implementing the water agreement. So there's both sides of this coin, right? So the Arizona Department of Water Resources has signed off on its first of a kind agreement, allowing 2 fast-growing cities to spend millions to transport water from a rural groundwater basin to support existing developments and future growth. Okay. Now, this agreement has been in the works since 2022, guys. That's how long it's taken to come to the agreement today, because it's very important. You can't screw this up, guys. You can't screw it up. If you screw it up, it's going to be a problem. Obviously, we need water. It is very important for the security of the future for the Phoenix area. Under this agreement, approved last week, Buckeye and Queen Creek can withdraw a bunch of acre feet, okay, respectively, for the next 110 years from the Harquahala groundwater basin, and transport it back to their communities. Now, this basin is in the West Valley under that Buckeye area. So it's already kind of there. Queen Creek has to figure out how to get it there. That's a different story. But they'll be purchasing $80 million worth of groundwater rights. Now, remember a long time ago, I said, guys, if you watch the channel, I said, it isn't a matter of if they have the water. It's the matter of contracts and politics and money. Follow the money. And that's pretty much where the truth lies in pretty much almost everything. Okay. That's the situation. So the water's there. How do we get it there? Because certain people have rights to it and blah, blah, blah. Well, they're figuring this out, and somebody's getting paid and contracts are being signed, and here you go. The deal is done. Okay. The basin, which is in the far west part of Maricopa County, was designated as a kind of groundwater savings account by the state of Arizona. In 91, it holds over 8 million acre feet of groundwater. It is a win for both cities. Okay. Now, still, one of the state's leading experts on water usage cautions that the two cities and builders face several hurdles in order to see any new developments through the fruition. The water deal is a very important step for them, but there are a lot of other difficult steps ahead for the two cities when it comes to future building out major large communities. Arizona, the cities demonstrate they have strong enough groundwater supply to support current and planned developments over the course of 100 years in order to issue assurances to developers so they can build. Okay, it's important for future housing, for the population growth of these two cities and Phoenix overall. Okay, so this agreement will support and expand the city's water portfolio and ensure the sustainability of not only our community, but also the economic vitality of the region and the entire state of Arizona. Okay, they expect the most population growth to happen out there in Queen Creek and Buckeye on opposite ends of the valley. Buckeye is in the far west, Queen Creek is in the far southeast valley, but they both need water for the future development of housing, etc., and of course, population growth. So here we go. Howard Hughes is the developer of Teravalis, which is a big community with 8,500 homes. That is wild. Okay. But look at here's the caveat. Here's the caveat. However, the remaining portion of that project, which is Teravalis, which is a huge, like almost like a city in of itself, does not have the assurances, only the first phase of the project of 8,500 homes. So I say all that to say, guys, a lot is happening with water in the Phoenix area. The water's there, and it's just a matter of politics, contracts, and money. But that doesn't mean we should not be very aware of how to conserve our water for future generations to come. That will continue to be very, very important. And there's a lot more things coming down the pike. Did I mention the desalination plant proposal in Rocky Point, Mexico, that would bring clean water, fresh water into the Phoenix area? Stay tuned for more on that in the future. Okay. That is not a guarantee. It's not that's going to happen, but there is talks, and that is in the works in terms of talks. Okay. So just want to keep you that, which by the way, I think would be amazing. So we'll see if that ever comes to play. Now let's go over here and talk about a few more things here, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay. Because I think it's very important to hit some of these other aspects of the show and the economy. Let's talk about rates before we go to any development and housing market issues that are local. Rates, here we go. We're at 6.77% on the 30-year fix, 6.03% on the 15-year fix, which is always a discrepancy there. There's always a difference between the 30 and the 15-year fix. Okay. But mortgage rates are on the move down to 6.77. That doesn't seem like much, but it is on the way down compared to 6.8 and some change that they were at the last couple of weeks. So that's good. Now, here's the Fed. There's so many articles on this if you just Google it, right? But the Reuters come out with an article, and Reuters is pretty, it's the news breaking. So Fed expected to keep rates unchanged as it sifts through mixed economic data. Now, I told you there's another economist that also said he believes, and he's saying that the Fed may actually increase rates, which would be mind-boggling to me, guys. And here's why. I know the dollar has been devalued, and that plays a role in this, okay, in the overall economic situation. I get that, okay? However, inflation was at 7, 8, 9% back in 2022-23, and that's when rates started skyrocketing up to the 7th percentile and even a little bit higher. We are no longer anywhere close to 7% on our inflation or 8% on our inflation rate. We're down in the twos. The target rate for the Fed is 2.0. We're down in that area. Yet the rates are at the same point they were at when inflation was well over 7%. Does not make sense. Now, the excuse, which whether it's real or not, are tariffs. Okay, are tariffs, and I get it. Maybe it's not an excuse. Maybe that's real because of the tariff situation. They're not sure what's going to happen with the trade between different countries, and therefore it causes uncertainty in the local economy and the global economy. And therefore, let's just keep rates the same. That's the easy thing to do. But we'll see what happens when the Fed meets, and we'll be watching this for you and let you know. Another article here. Starter home sales rose 4% in June. Let me share this with you guys. A bright spot in a sluggish housing market. Starter home sales rose, not went down, 4%. This housing economy is funny, guys, because we know there's demand. This is proving nothing more. Okay, they went up 3.9%. Look at the graph here. U.S. starter home sales reached highest levels since June of 2023. Look at that. Okay, so what does that tell you? Now let's think about this. Please take the emotion out of it, because the emotion will keep you in maybe a spot you shouldn't be at. That's not with all the reality of the situation. Think about this. What does that tell you? That tells you that there is demand out in the marketplace, and a lot of people are holding on the sidelines. They're waiting for this price to drop lower and get a better deal, whatever the case may be. And I don't blame you for it. Try to time the market if you can. It's tough. Try to do it. But this tells you right there that even some of the demand is so great that it's like bulging. It's like, that shirt on a big guy. The buttons are bursting at the seams, and it's, maybe one of the buttons pops a little bit and some stuff, pops out there. Well, that's probably a horrible analogy, but you get my drift, right? Some of these people are so interested in being first-time home buyers that they're just going to do it. Just like, screw it. I'm getting, hey, 7%, no big deal. It is a big deal, but I'll try to get a rate buy down temporarily. But as long as I can afford that 7%, I'm good. And then hopefully I'll just keep, getting in the game of home ownership, and we'll buy down. We'll keep getting our principal rate buy down, of paying our mortgage every month. And then one day rates will hopefully come down. But as long as I can afford my 7% rate, I'm good. Okay. One day rates come down, I can refinance out of it, et cetera, get a lower payment, et cetera, et cetera. They can't wait any longer. They want to be part of the American dream of home ownership. So they're jumping in. That graph is crazy good news for demand. So now picture a world where rates eventually do come down. Again, Fed might increase the rates. Who knows? It's crazy. But at some point they will come down because it's all cyclical. So let's say maybe it's a year from now, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 18 months. I don't know. But they come down to 6%. Nothing crazy. 6%, 5.75 maybe. What's going to happen? Guys, people will jump off the fence and they will get in. And if anything, this graph right here proves to you that is the case, because people who are first-time homeowners, like, you know what? I don't have the PTSD of what it was like when rates were at 4%, 3.25%, whatever, in 2020, because I was like, I don't know, in college or high school. And so I'm just going to jump in because I want to be a homeowner. And that is going to start the process of more demand entering the marketplace. And if you get something to light the fire or stoke the fire on that, look out what happens. And then the leverage of buyers goes away a little more, right? I'm not saying price is going to turn around. It's going to go like that right away. It's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen that way. But when sellers get the 4-letter word, it starts with H, called hope, it just becomes a little bit more challenging to negotiate with them. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So be aware of that. All right. Now a few more things and I'll call it a day and let you guys get back on your way here. Okay. Phoenix home prices plateau as market shifts in buyers' favor. So we all know this, right? So let's do the highlights real quick. We'll be out of here. Metro Phoenix homes, their prices decline 0.2. Okay. Now Comfort Report says probably around 3%. This is 0.2 so far. Okay. Despite high mortgage rates, momentum shifts from sellers to buyers. That's good. Luxury market strong with middle-class market. Or wow, the middle-class market struggles with affordability. A lot of people have money and they're still buying houses, but affordability, man, it's tough to afford that payment when the rates are 7%, 6.8%. It's tough. Affordability is tough in Phoenix right now. But home buyers are now officially, if you haven't believed it yet, the Phoenix Business Journal says it. You're in the driver's seat. Okay. Congratulations. Give us a call at 480-660-5974. I would love to walk you through the process of you buying a house and some strategies around that so you can save as much money possible if you do want to jump in and try to buy now before the market maybe turns. And you might have another 6 months. You may go down another 5%, 3%, 2%. Who knows? But if you do want to talk strategy, let me know. Let's move on. Guys, this is bad but good. Okay. Listen to me. This is bad but good. Intel CEO unveils drastic workforce reductions by year-end amid turnaround plan. What does this mean? There's Intel corporate headquarters in the Chandler area. That picture might be of some place in California, but that's Intel. And here you go. Check it out. Intel will have cut. They will have cut 25%. That is not small, guys, of its global workforce by year-end. 25%. Their revenue remain flat, and the CEO is committed to reducing expenses and improve their operations to compete with TSMC. Guys, this is good and bad news. Why? It's bad for all people losing their jobs. I feel for you. I do. I do. And there's probably going to be more of that with other companies coming down the pike in the next 6 months. The unemployment rate, if it does continue, or not continue, but does go up, right now it has not gone up. It's been flat or gone down, which is good for people getting jobs, but not good for affordability of houses or the rates dropping, okay, which causes houses to be more affordable, right? So if this unemployment trend continues and people are losing jobs, unemployment rates going up, what does that mean, guys? That means that the Fed will eventually cut the rates to try to make things more affordable to combat that. And then homes become more affordable, assuming everybody doesn't jump in and a lot of people still have jobs. They don't have jobs because they're part of the reduction of workforce. Then they can't afford the house, and that could cause it to go down further. It's possible, right? And make things more affordable. So watch the unemployment rate. In my opinion, that's more important right now than watching what the Fed does. Okay. So keep an eye on that. If you agree, let me know. Give me a like. I appreciate the couple likes I've received already. So thank you for that. Okay. Here we go. Redfin article here. Okay. The National Observer Real Estate National Housing Market continues to shift to buyers. Okay. We just talked about that on the local side here in Phoenix. But man, the overall economy is looking, the housing market, is looking good for our buyers. Okay. Problem is many buyers are still priced out. Okay. So let's watch and see what happens with affordability. Housing market just hit key milestones, but buyer's market may be a stretch. Okay. What's the key milestone? This is interesting. Housing inventory continues to grow nationally, which is slowly shifting the market towards buyers. Home prices remain high despite recent growth in inventory and listings. Okay. Mortgage rates are also still elevated. Inventory in the national housing market is accumulating, which is continuing to tilt the market, albeit slowly, in favor of buyers. Okay. So the articles are clear what is happening right now. In the meantime, some of these builders are looking to take market share. D.R. Horton eyes state land near Desert Ridge Resort. This is a prime location. Right here, there's Desert Ridge. There's the 101. Just south of here, you can't see it. This is Deer Valley Road. But right here, this prime piece of land, they're looking to buy this for a hefty price tag of around $38 million, I believe, right? $37 million is what the minimum bid starts at. But what's that tell you? Again, that I don't think D.R. Horton is going to spend $38 million if potentially, or more, if potentially the market's going to crash in the next year or two. Could they be wrong? They could. That's a big bet to make to be wrong. All right. A few more things that kind of coincide with the overall housing market. Big price drop on a luxury home in the Scottsdale enclave of Silverleaf. This property was at $21.2 million. It is now at $18.9. So what does that have to do with this? It's just one more headline to show you that the market is softening and continues to do so. But it's July. Typically in August and September, things turn around a little bit. But it's July still as we are on this show. Last but not least, for anyone who needs healthcare, Mayo Clinic Phoenix tops Arizona hospitals for 13th year in a row in U.S. news and rankings. Guys, we are fortunate in Phoenix to have one of the 3 locations of the Mayo Clinic: Jacksonville, Florida, or Rochester, Minnesota, and Scottsdale and Phoenix, Arizona. So that's phenomenal to have that. It's a great place for getting great top-notch healthcare. And so it's very good for our overall economy. Now, again, remember, July is slow no matter what. Rates could be at 3%. July would be slow in an average year. So let's see what happens in August. Next week will be in August, the first week. We'll see if anything turns around. Probably not in a week, but we'll monitor it. We'll deliver that news to you on this show next Monday. No more vacations for me and my family. School starts next week. We are back in our routines, and I'll see you next Tuesday, same time, 4 p.m. local, right here on Everything Phoenix YouTube Live. Thank you guys very much for your time today. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 4. Phoenix, keep it classy.